squash his beef with Yo like he did everybody else. I think it's more so about the girl, his wife, and no disrespect to her, but would you be willing to squash some beef with somebody who had sex with your wife? You know, maybe while you was in prison, I don't know when it was.
It looks like the tension between Yo Gotti and Gucci Mane isn't loud yet, but it's definitely bubbling up again now that Pooh Shiesty is finally back home. The streets are watching every single move like something slick is going on behind closed doors. People are whispering that the same CEO who helped build the CMG machine may have been moving strategic while his artist was locked up, knowing damn well those moves could reopen a rivalry that once came dangerously close to spiraling out of control. This doesn't feel like coincidence at all. It feels cold, calculated, and driven by business, mixed with ego and pride, colliding at the worst time. What makes this whole situation crazier is how something that started as a simple label situation slowly transformed into full-blown street politics. With the entire industry glued to every post, every caption, every subtle move, social media has been buzzing non-stop with talk that Pooh Shiesty might be eyeing an exit from 1017. While Gotti keeps posting him like the paperwork already says CMG, and fans are dissecting every detail like detectives, the timing feels way too perfect, and the energy feels tight, tense, like pieces are being moved on a chessboard right now. While Pooh Shiesty was finishing his federal sentence, the whole game shifted hard. Money routes changed, alliances got flipped, and power dynamics didn't look the same anymore. So when he touched back down, ready to lock in and get to work, rumors say he ran into strange energy about the bag from people he thought were solid. This isn't just some dry contract talk, and it definitely isn't boring paperwork issues. This is about loyalty being tested, respect being questioned, and old wounds reopening between two bosses who already had unfinished business. And this is where it really starts getting spicy. When your biggest artist starts leaning toward your biggest rival, business turns personal real fast. That's when feelings creep in, pride takes over, and grudges that never fully died come rushing back with no warning at all. To really understand why this situation feels so heavy, you have to rewind to a time when Gucci Mane and Yo Gotti were actually on good terms. Back in the early 2010s, when they both had serious influence in the South, both of them came straight out the mud. Gucci from Zone 6 and Gotti from North Memphis, and back then, Real definitely recognized Real.
Cuffed and taken to jail as after a judge revoked part of Radrick Davis's probation. Prosecutors complained that the rapper had only completed 25 hours of the 600 hours of community service he was ordered to perform.
This wasn't some fake industry link-up for cameras or playlist placements. There was genuine respect because both had survived the grind and built their names from nothing. Gucci was already wearing the Trap King crown, but he saw that same hunger in Gotti, that relentless drive to win, no matter what stood in the way. Back then, joint mixtapes between heavy hitters weren't common like they are now, so when they linked, it felt major. The records slapped, the streets showed love, and it looked like two forces pushing each other to another level. But underneath the music, tension was quietly building, and everything really started cracking on October 17, 2012. That date meant everything to Gucci Mane because it was tied directly to his brand, 1017. He had been pushing his Trap God project hard, locking in that day like it was destiny itself. Back then, timing could make or break momentum, and Gucci had that date circled in red with everyone around him knowing it was supposed to be his moment. What came next would silently shift relationships, power plays, and street politics in ways people didn't fully catch at the time. The promo money was already spent, features were locked, distribution was lined up. Everything was pointing to October 17th being Gucci Mane's time to dominate. That date wasn't random at all. It was planned carefully, strategically, and everybody in his camp knew how serious it was. Then the bomb dropped. Yo Gotti announced CM7, The World Is Yours was dropping the exact same day. Gotti later said he didn't know, but the timing had heads turning immediately, because to a lot of people, that explanation just didn't add up at all. These weren't random dudes or loose industry connections at all. They were really locked in, making records together, moving like allies. And Gucci had been loudly promoting that October 17th date for months non-stop. Every interview, every tweet, every promo run screamed one thing minus 10/17. was the moment. So people started asking, how do you miss that when it's coming from someone in your own circle? Gotti later explained that once he realized the clash, he actually felt hype about it. In his head, two Southern heavyweights dropping together would break the internet and show unity, not spark problems. But that's exactly where things went left. Gotti was thinking like a supporter, not like a boss protecting a brand. In the music game, dropping on the same day isn't friendly competition, it's a straight numbers battle. When two artists with overlapping fan bases release at the same time, streams get split, blogs choose sides, and neither project hits full power. It's like opening two food spots on the same block. Both might eat, but nobody's really feasting.
Good afternoon, Fred. The judge said, judging by his record, Radrick Davis, otherwise known as Gucci Mane, is not a worthy candidate for probation. So the judge decided to end a portion of his probation and send him to jail.
And it wasn't just about charts or sales either. Your release date is your spotlight, your chance to own headlines, blogs, and the entire conversation for that moment. When someone clothes drops on the same day, that spotlight gets dim fast. Gucci had been building October 17th like it was sacred, tied directly to his brand. An identity, so sharing that moment felt like crossing a line that didn't even need to be spoken. Gotti said he tried to handle it the grown way behind the scenes. He called Gucci right away, expecting a quick brother-to-brother talk. No answer. He tried again, still nothing. He even reached out through people in Gucci's camp asking for a callback, but the silence stayed loud. That quiet made everything heavier, especially since Gotti had just released a remix featuring artists connected to Gucci's biggest rival at the time, which only poured more tension on an already sensitive situation. Then Gucci finally spoke, but not directly. He dropped a short, sharp tweet that everybody understood instantly. He questioned why anyone would drop on 10/17 if they weren't part of his movement, making it clear he felt disrespected without saying names. That message echoed across the industry. Eventually they did talk on the phone, and Gotti thought they cleared the air. To show respect, he even pushed his release back to October 18th, believing it was squashed, but that moment quietly planted seeds that would grow way bigger later. Here's where the story really flips upside down. During that phone call, Gucci wasn't even stressing the release date anymore. His real anger was aimed at the Jeezy and T.I. collaboration Gotti had just dropped. Gucci went straight to the radio and made it crystal clear, saying, "My main problem with him is that he dropped his mixtape on 10/17 and tried to ride my wave." Why would you drop it if you ain't on 10/17? That wasn't business talk. That was emotion pouring out loud. That line hit deep because Gucci truly felt like someone he trusted was trying to benefit off his moment. To him, October 17th wasn't just a calendar date. It was his identity, his grind, his brand stamped into history. Once he felt that moment got stepped on, the respect evaporated instantly. Things went from tense to straight ugly when Gucci dropped birds of a feather and said, "I used to rock with Gotti until he turned into a buster." Let that sink in. That wasn't a sneak shot. That was a full public statement meant for the whole world to hear. Gotti felt that one all the way in his chest. At first, he tried to play it cool and not let the situation explode. But there's only so much disrespect a man can swallow before he speaks up. Eventually, he fired back with "Have mercy," making it clear he wasn't about to stay quiet while his name got tossed around. The song wasn't super vicious, but the message was obvious. The relationship was done. Lines were drawn, and there was no fixing it after that. Then came the moment that cracked everything wide open. During an interview on The Breakfast Club, Gotti casually dropped a bomb, revealing that he had been involved with Keshia Kerr, who's now Gucci's wife, while Gucci was locked up on a probation violation. He said it smooth, almost careless, brushing it off like it was nothing, telling the world, "You know how the game go. I ain't know you was in love and all that." That one sentence alone shook the culture and turned a rap disagreement into something way more personal. What made it even messier was the timing behind it all. Gucci had been locked up after violating probation, only completing 25 hours out of the 600 hours of community service he was ordered to do. The judge revoked his probation and handed him a 1-year sentence. During that stretch, Gucci couldn't defend himself, couldn't protect his relationship, and barely had a voice. And that's exactly when Gotti said he stepped in. Gotti framed it like he didn't know Gucci was serious, calling it casual street business, but to a lot of people, that move crossed a major line that couldn't be uncrossed. Even the way Gotti talked about it made things worse. He laughed during the interview like it was light work. Like it wasn't a betrayal at all, but the damage was already permanent. Then in 2013, Gucci's situation got even darker when he caught serious federal charges carrying heavy time. That prison run didn't just slow him down, it reshaped his entire life. When Gucci came home in 2016, he wasn't the same man at all. He was sober, healthier, focused, and moving with intention. The transformation was obvious. He dropped weight fast just from detoxing, rebuilt his mental state, started a family, and restructured his label from the ground up. The petty drama didn't interest him anymore, but the scars from that betrayal were already burned into hip-hop history. Everybody remembered what was said, what was done, and how it all went down. The old Gucci Mane would have been online crashing out, tweeting non-stop, throwing shots left and right, and starting new beefs every other week. But this version of Gucci was different. He was disciplined, quiet, and locked in on power moves only. He stopped chasing noise and started stacking wins, making sharper music, signing smarter talent, and turning 1017 into a real business, not just a slogan. Fast forward to 2020 and Gucci signs a young Memphis artist named Pooh Shiesty. And from day one, people could tell he was different. He had that raw street energy that reminded folks of the old Gucci, but with a modern edge that connected instantly with the new generation. His story fit 1017 perfectly. Same environment, same pressure, same survival mentality, and that hunger you can't teach. Pooh Shiesty wasn't just another artist. He was positioned as the face of the next era. But then everything came crashing down when he caught a federal case and got locked up on conspiracy charges. In October 2021, he was arrested on firearm-related charges and later sentenced to 5 years in federal prison. For most artists, that kind of time is a career graveyard. Momentum dies, buzz fades, and names disappear fast when the spotlight moves on. But here's the part people can ignore. Gucci stayed publicly loyal the entire time. He went on record more than once saying how much he missed Pooh, how he couldn't wait for him to come home, and how 1017 was holding everything down until that moment finally arrived. Gucci even slimmed his whole roster way down, keeping only Pooh Shiesty and one other artist, which was a loud statement by itself. That move showed just how much faith he really had in him. But while Pooh was sitting down, the industry didn't hit pause for nobody. Streaming numbers went crazy, deal sizes ballooned, and hot artists started commanding bags way bigger than before. So when Pooh Shiesty finally touched back down, he quickly realized something important. His value had skyrocketed. That's when Gotti suddenly entered the picture, and the timing raised a lot of eyebrows. CMG had been on a heavy signing run, grabbing talent left and right and offering deals artists couldn't just brush off. Gotti started posting Pooh Shiesty nonstop on social media, and it wasn't subtle love either. This was major promo, millions of views, full industry visibility. He even sent his biggest female artist, Glorilla, to lock in with Pooh, and nobody believes that timing was accidental. Gotti knew Pooh Shiesty's 1017 deal was coming up for renewal, and he started positioning CMG as the smarter, stronger move. Sources say it was a clean, calculated play from someone who understands the business inside and out. When the negotiations finally came up, word is Gucci's offers came in way lower than expected. Numbers that didn't match the streams, the buzz, or the millions Pooh had already brought in. Industry insiders say those offers felt disrespectful, the kind of numbers you throw at a brand new artist, not someone who carried your label during its biggest run. That's as when people started saying it felt like Gucci was leaning too hard on loyalty instead of properly rewarding success. Gucci didn't take any of this to social media, though. That's just not how he moves anymore. The old Gucci might have aired everything out online, but this version handles problems behind closed doors. Still, people close to the situation say he's far from happy about Gotti circling his biggest star like that. And honestly, who would be cool with it? You invest in an artist, build them from nothing, give them their first real opportunity, and then your longtime rival tries to swoop in the moment they're hot. From Gucci's perspective, it probably feels like history repeating itself all over again. And that kind of betrayal doesn't fade with time. It's starting to look like Gotti is trying to benefit off something Gucci Mane built from the ground up, and that's where the tension really comes from. First, it was the October 17th situation where Gotti looked like he was stepping into Gucci's moment instead of respecting it. Now it feels like the same pattern is playing out again, except this time it's about pulling away Gucci's biggest star. The difference now is the balance of power has shifted in a major way. Back during their original fallout, both artists were moving on similar levels, fighting for position and respect. Fast forward to today, and Gotti clearly has the bigger platform, deeper pockets, and stronger industry pull. CMG is seen as one of the hottest labels in the game right now, while 1017 has struggled to stay relevant outside of Pooh Shiesty. That power gap changes everything, and it makes this situation way more dangerous than people want to admit. So now the real question everybody keeps asking is, what is Pooh Shiesty really thinking in the middle of all this chaos? On one side, there's loyalty to the label that gave him his first real opportunity. Gucci believed in him when most people didn't even know his name, put him on a serious platform, and helped turn him into a real star with motion behind it. In the streets, that kind of loyalty is supposed to mean something, and walking away from that isn't a small move at all. But this whole situation also proves how much the game has changed over time. Back in the day, beef came with clear lines and hard rules. You didn't deal with your rivals, people, no matter how crazy the bag looked. Today, it's opportunity first and loyalty second. And that shift has flipped the entire industry upside down. Still, some rules never fully die, especially when pride, respect, and old wounds are involved. If Pooh Shiesty really leaves 1017 for CMG, that sends a loud message through the whole industry. It tells artists everywhere that loyalty has a limit. And if your label isn't valuing you the way you feel you deserve, there's always another door waiting to open. Wrote. That kind of move could push more artists to start demanding better deals or jumping ship the moment a stronger label comes knocking. From Gucci's side, this probably feels like déjà vu in the worst way. Building something from the ground up, believing in someone, and then watching a longtime rival try to snatch it at its peak hits different every time. From Gotti's perspective, though, it's strictly business, playing the long game and applying pressure where the leverage is strongest. As this story keeps unfolding, one thing is crystal clear. This isn't just rap beef anymore. This is power, money, ego, and respect crashing into each other in real time with real consequences. If you want more deep breakdowns on label politics, industry power plays, and the real stories hiding behind the headlines, make sure you tap into our other videos right now. Stay locked in, stay sharp, and remember, in this game, loyalty matters until the money starts talking louder.